Since 1897, Schilling Supply Company has been your single source provider of business solutions and supplies. Their 65,000 square foot facility stocks over 3,000 items ranging from packaging, janitorial, industrial, food processing. safety, and specialty products. Schilling Supply provides the essentials you need to meet your customers' and employees' expectations. Businesses like Gunderson, Quick Trip, Dynamic Recycling, and Badger Corrugating rely on Schilling Supply to deliver the right products at the right time. Schilling Supply Company. Visit on the From the Cleary Alumni Center on the campus of the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, it's the Mike Schmidt Football Show. Brought to you by Honda Motorworks, your electric and hybrid headquarters at 4th and Cass. By Schilling Supply, serving businesses with critical supplies since 1897. By Schumacher Kish Cremation and Funeral Services in La Crosse, La Crescent, and Onalaska. By 360 Real Estate Solutions, they've got the keys to your new home. And by Market & Johnson, Western Wisconsin's construction leader, adding value to everything they do. Now, here's the host of today's program, Terry Erickson.
Well, welcome to UW-La Crosse. We're back in the Cleary Alumni Center here on the campus of UWL for the Mike Schmidt Football Show here on KQEG. The show is live and the stream and also played back every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. As we do each week, we want to begin by acknowledging our sponsors, Schilling Supply, Honda Motorworks, Schumacher Kish Funeral Homes, 360 Real Estate Solutions, and Market & Johnson. We also want to acknowledge the guests that are here in support of the Mike Schmidt Show. And we want to acknowledge Larry Lebecki, who spent 19 days in Europe, but he's back here for the flight just to come back for the show.
That's right.
So,
From the Cleary Alumni Center.
all of our guests, thank you for attending. Well, and now the star of the show, Coach Mike Schmidt. Before we review the game, my meeting with you on Friday, as we do every Friday, you said UWL had better personnel. You were confident about that. Not overly confident because you didn't want to just look at it and then perhaps jump ahead to some maybe more significant opponents.
Yeah.
You were right.
Yeah, we're never going to overlook anybody in our league. I mean, that's just not how it works. You know, you got to get your guys ready to play and keep moving through. But yeah, we certainly felt like that was a game that going into it that we should win. We felt pretty. I thought we felt really good about our game plan on both sides of it and special teams, and you could really see that come through. That. Not only did our players, but our coaches had a lot of confidence in what we were doing, had a lot of confidence in our guys doing it, and I really felt like we had our best week of practice probably of the season leading up to it. So I think you kind of mash all that thing in together. We walked out a pretty confident team, and I think you can see that right from the jump.
Let's just really quickly look at that. You said game planning. Now, in most other sports, not a lot of game planning. Some in basketball, but game planning not to the degree of sophistication
Right.
that happens in football. Hours and hours and hours of breaking down your tape for predictabilities, breaking down other tape for their predictabilities. Take us through a typical week of game planning.
Well, yeah, that's probably what makes football a little more unique is that the coaches actually are competing against other coaches. You know, there's an element there it's not necessarily in in other sports where it's a coach versus a coach on a play-by-play basis. Where for us, we have our hands kind of in on all of it, you know, and so that does add that element. So you got to make sure you're prepared, and that's why football coaches especially are such sticklers about details and preparation and all those things. And so, you know, I think it's just always looking at the opponent and where you can exploit some of their weaknesses, what plays they're going to run against you, what are our personnel matchups that we feel good about, and you know, throughout the week, just kind of putting it all together against Stevens Point, we felt pretty good about where we were at with that.
Before we break down the game, you and I talked Friday too about strength of schedule. And the importance of that in terms of postseason and so on. But you said something pretty revealing in terms of your strength of schedule, how the NC2A views UWL.
Yeah, I mean, we're right now we have the 7th toughest strength of schedule in the country. That's by the NCAA, what they're going to use in terms of our percentage, our opponent's win percentage, and what's going to be factored in as they look at regional rankings and things like that. And we're still a long way off from that, but it shows you the quality of schedule that we've played up to this point. It won't go down from there. Obviously, once you get into league play, it doesn't go down. It can only increase from that point with it in terms of your your league play. But yeah, I don't know that anybody, prior to the last couple weeks, I don't know who's played a tougher run in a stretch, than we have, playing Illinois Wesleyan and Dickinson State and Whitewater through that stretch. So, kind of what we had planned and what we had predicted to get this team ready to compete at this kind of level. It's certainly seen, and you can just see it. And I kind of talked to everybody that'll listen to me about that every week we're just going to continue to get better with this group because we're so young. It's so many new faces, and we tried to really make a huge sense of urgency to get that team better. And I think you saw it kind of come all together on Saturday night.
One other quick point before we break the game down. You said when you were interviewed after you accepted the job, one of your goals was to bring the 12th man back to UWL football. I looked down at the number of students and the overall attendance. Now, I don't know if we broke any records, but it was satisfying to see the number of people that were there.
It was awesome. What a great turnout by our fans and by our community the other night. We were a little worried about it. We didn't see the Badger game getting flexed to the nighttime, but you want those night games because the students come to night games. That's where they like coming to those games. Plus, it was family weekend, so you're going to have a lot of. They needed something to do. There's always stuff to do during the day, but they needed something to do at night, and so it worked out perfectly for that side of it. And then obviously for our recruits to get a lot of recruits from farther distances away here during the day to experience that was really cool. So that's why we really wanted the night game. Didn't see the Brewers playing in the NLCS on a Saturday afternoon. Didn't see the Michigan Badgers game getting flexed to the night. But you know what? The fans came out. It was an awesome atmosphere. And then, that first half was about as much fun as I've ever had on the sideline. That was pretty cool, and the fans enjoyed.
But, another quick thing. Through all my years of coaching, if we won, I always felt a sense of real uncertainty, and I never felt good even though we won if you didn't try to get everybody in the game. You're the same way, and by having 100 players here playing versus 60 on the road, there was a deep sense of satisfaction.
Yeah, and finally our whole team got to experience a win, our first home win of the season. The whole group got a chance to come together, and that was our message throughout the week, was that finally our whole group was going to win a game together. Because we've had 2 walk-off wins, at Stout and Illinois Wesleyan, but only half the team's been there. So our message has been finally to get that group, and then we were lucky enough to be able to play a bunch of guys too. So just a great day for UWL football on Saturday night.
Oh my gosh! But real quickly too, most points ever scored against Point. Most points. So when you look at you had 49-6 at halftime. Everything clicks for you. You have in the second quarter, you have 5 TDs. You had 49-6. Everyone gets into the scoring. A blessing too, and certainly with Ryan Byrne with 7 PATs. But then you got Bryce Wessling in the game. You got Michael Pacos in the game. And to me, that was a plus, too. It just makes for better team morale, as you know.
Developing depth.
Oh my gosh,
getting those guys game reps is so critical.
Who else, Coach, has more depth in the conference than you? Do you think other teams do?
There's some really good teams in the league, and we're just trying to develop those young guys right now, continuing to get them better. And when you can build a lead like we were able to do, and our defense comes out and has 6 consecutive 3-and-outs to start the game. Our offense, I shouldn't say our offense because we had a special teams one in there too, but we scored 5 touchdowns in the second quarter. Things are going your way when those kind of things are happening for sure. It reminded me of the River Falls game to end the season last year, where all of a sudden it just kind of piles on, and all 3 phases just start taking over the football game, and that's exactly what happened.
We were there. As we close this segment, you held Point to 2 of 15 third down conversions. The injury to Colton Neiman, we talked about it.
Yeah.
Again, we closed. But I said on the broadcast that Nathan Clark did an excellent job. Everybody did, but I thought he did well as a replacement for Colton.
Unbelievable. And today at practice we're going to be our starting corner right now is technically our 5th string corner starting at practice today. We got a bunch of injuries, but Clarkie, he's 5 foot nothing. He's 100 nothing. He probably weighs 150 pounds. I don't know. It might be more, but whatever. But just rose to the occasion and had a great game stepping in for our best secondary player in Colton Neiman. So absolutely. Awesome job by him, and that's what this team's all about.
All right, we're gonna get some in-depth too on some things like that. We're gonna build on that, but we're gonna have 2 guests, 2 players for the second segment when we return right after this.
Since 1897, Schilling Supply Company has been your single source provider of business solutions and supplies. Their 65,000 square foot facility stocks over 3,000 items ranging from packaging, janitorial, industrial, food processing, safety, and specialty products. Schilling Supply provides the essentials you need to meet your customers' and employees' expectations. Businesses like Gunderson, Quick Trip, Dynamic Recycling, and Badger Corrugating rely on Schilling Supply to deliver the right products at the right time. Schilling Supply Company. Visit on the web or call.
Stunning from any angle, the HR-V is a crossover of style and versatility.
You'll love more miles per dollar. Honda Motor Works.
360 Real Estate Solutions has the keys to your new home. Introducing the Hub on 6th, rooftop lofted condos for sale. Beautifully designed with open floor plans up to 3 bedrooms. The Hub has what you need for city life, from studios to 3 bedrooms to fit your lifestyle and your pocketbook with the extra touches that matter. A rooftop sports court, bike storage with a washing center, community rooms, storage units, laundry, a pet walk, and a workout room. Get your tour today at hubon6.360.bz.
The all-new Honda Fit gives you the flexibility of the magic seat with the fuel efficiency you celebrate at the pump. From Honda Motor Works.
You'll love more miles per dollar. Honda Motor Works.
The all-new Honda Fit.
Welcome back to the Mike Schmidt Show on the campus of UWL. We're joined by two stars from the game on Saturday, Jalen Clark, Ben Shramsky. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Coach, overall thoughts on their production this season and Saturday?
Yeah, I thought Ben, Ben played his best game of the season, I thought, the other day, and we all knew that he was gonna, from the week of practice and the game plan that we had, and getting the ball out to our guys, knew he was gonna play like that, and he did. Totally responded, had an awesome day, really playing really well right now for us, and just I thought really what was great in the game, and he had the rushing touchdown, but it was his reads on the edge, was whether he was going to keep it or give it in our zone read game was awesome. I thought that added a little bit of a different element to us that day. He made great decisions on it and just looked really comfortable. And that's the Ben Shramsky we all love, is watching him play really comfortable football and letting it loose. And then, Jalen coming off a little bit of an injury bug here that he's had just been battling against here a little bit the last couple of weeks. Ran hard, ran fast, got out in the open field a couple times, and probably had some of his best production that he's had in his time here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the way he looks, I think it would take a lot to get him hurt.
That's right. That's right.
But let's start with Ben. Your comments about Ben. I mentioned this before, that I had talked to him after the Whitewater game, and he said to me, I'm paraphrasing, but he said to me, I accept the blame, some of the blame for the Dickinson State game, the Whitewater game. I need to pick up my game. You said that to me.
Absolutely, yes.
And you absolutely wanted to take the team on your back, and you knew that the people, they were not seeing the real Ben Shramsky. Talk about that.
I just don't think we, strung things together. There wasn't the rhythm in the offense that we had hoped for. Whether it was me missing a throw, just a bunch of different factors that went into it. It felt like it clicked on Saturday, and it was really nice to get back to that, and it's what our offense needed.
Good. Second time on the show, back by popular demand.
That's right. When you play like that, you should be. You got 4 touchdowns and another run rushing, score 63 points, you should be.
Yeah. Jalen Clark, St. Louis, Missouri, Stoughton High School. I'm sure they were happy to see you move to Stoughton and play there. And then to UWL. First time on the show. I've always admired the way you play. As Coach said, you had a great game. And the reason you did, you have 223 yards and 2 TDs, by the way, but 7 carries, 34 yards, a touchdown. What I like about the way you played, and you react to this, please, you were decisive at the point of attack. You were elusive. You found a second gear. You ran with more confidence. You ran through some tacklers. You did everything that I thought Jalen Clark could do. You showed it in your true colors Saturday night.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
Nothing really. I was just pretty focused going into the game. We kind of had this mental thing going right now where we're in the playoffs, so every game, could knock us out of the playoffs if we don't win. So. But
you did so well, though. Your gait showed more confidence. Now I know it starts with the offensive line because the holes were there for you, and you had good vision. You picked the hole and you went from there. So you had an opportunity. You made the most of it. But describe your running style.
I usually like the tempo. I like to go pretty fast, to the hole. But I don't like to go too fast where the play can't develop in time, I like to give the lineman time to get to their spot so they can get a good block, whoever they have to block. But after that, I just accelerate. Like I'm back running track. I don't think about anything but just getting away from people. If there's somebody right there, I just keep running.
When you get to the second and third level, that's where you are impressive. Go back to your high school days, Stoughton. Describe your high school days as an athlete.
I ran track. I played football. I wrestled. Football, I broke a lot of tackles, and I had a lot of big runs. In track, I went to state in sprints.
So you were here then, on this campus at state. So, and what brought you to UWL as a student athlete?
Mostly the coaches in the school. When I was transferring from Mankato, I talked to Coach Schmidt, the rest of the coaches, and then I came here for a visit, and I really liked it. So
your first stop was Mankato?
Yeah.
And that didn't work out?
No.
And so you thought, I'm going to relocate and find somewhere where they can use my talents.
Yeah, I mean, it was a couple of schools I was talking to, but then I just ended up picking UWL.
Well, good. Well, we're certainly glad you did. And well, Ben, Coach talked about your evolution, your improvement. Can I just give you my view? I think you're getting rid of the ball quicker. I think you have better reads, your panoramic vision. You're showing your ability to run with the ball, which really came to light, I think, on Saturday night. Your reads are better. All the things that were not quite up to your standards, you have evolved into as impressive as I knew you would be. Talk about how that evolution is. Maybe it's part of your co-offensive coordinators that are helping you.
I think it's a little mixture of everything. I think, guys made plays for me too. You can't throw the ball to a guy who's covered. Like Cole Speaker made unbelievable catches going deep for me on Saturday night. I mean, the offensive line, I thought they had one of their best games of the year. They played so well. And the run game too. The running backs played really well. They, made it a lot easier on our passing game throughout for play action purposes, or just getting us down into a favorable position, and starting the ball in the plus territory was awesome for us Saturday night. I just think it was a lot of different factors, and feeling really comfortable with not only our coaching staff, the play calling, but just the guys around me. They made plays all night long.
Sounds like a typical Ben Shramsky, deflecting to other people. That's just why you're a character. You're full of great character. 18 for 27, 283 yards, 4 TDs, in case you didn't see the game, 4 TDs, 37 yards running and 1 TD. But here's what I like about the stats. Are you ready? 0 sacks. Impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And part of that is offensive line play, but part of it's your ability to extend the play and keep your eyes downfield and make things happen. And that seems to be the plus that I noticed with your game.
Yeah, I think it also goes to like a guy like Trent Smith, who's made a conversion, from playing running back to our T position. And I mean, he's been playing unbelievable the last couple of weeks, and I think this week especially, he had a little bit of a coming out party and playing really, really well in both. Blocking, run blocking, getting out into the flats for our pass game, and just all across the board. And
you're a captain. You're a leader. What does that mean to you?
I think it means everything. I think it's my favorite accolade I've ever gotten in my entire life. I think it's the most meaningful it says a lot about, what my teammates think of me, and I can't be more grateful for that.
Awesome. And Jalen, you're a leader in your own right. Major sociology, junior. Tough class schedule for you?
Not too bad. A couple of criminal justice classes and then some sociology classes.
Someday a police officer?
Yeah, I like to do detective work.
Oh, good. Favorite TV show about detective work? What would that be?
I like SWAT.
So do I. So maybe a member of a SWAT team?
I like SWAT, the show, but I like the movie too, though.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I like SWAT and SEAL Team. You ever see SEAL Team?
I don't know if I've seen it.
Oh, that's pretty. That's kind of. You can fit in either one of those shows. Well, as we close, goals for the rest of the season for you guys quickly. Jalen, rest of the season, what are we going to see from Jalen Clark?
To be better every game. It's not going to get any easier for us, and we have to win out, obviously. So every game I just want to show up and just play as best as I can for my teammates.
Yeah, and I'm sure whether you play 10 snaps or whatever, I'm sure you'll be. And finally, goals for Ben.
I want to, get this team into the playoffs any way I possibly can. Obviously, it starts this week with Oshkosh. They're going to be an unbelievable test for our team, and I can't wait.
And we'll be there, by the way, covering it. So we hope the best, and thank you for taking the time to be on our show today, too.
Thank you for having us.
All right. We'll be back with our third segment, talking a little bit about Oshkosh, right after this. Nice, guys.
Flexibility of the Magic Seat with the fuel efficiency you celebrate at the pump. From Honda Motorworks.
You'll love more miles per dollar. Honda Motorworks.
all-new Honda Fit gives you the flexibility of the magic seat with the fuel efficiency you celebrate at the pump. From Honda Motor Works.
You'll love more miles per dollar. Honda Motor Works.
The all-new Honda Fit gives you the flexibility of the magic seat with the fuel efficiency you celebrate at the pump. From Honda Motor Works.
You'll love more miles per dollar. Honda Motor Works.
Welcome back to the Mike Schmidt Show here at UWL. Before we talk a little bit about Oshkosh, let's go back to segment one and talk a little bit about Colton Neiman, who had an injury, and then Peter Kissling, and two key parts of your defensive backfield, and maybe any other injuries that that maybe may help or hurt next week.
Yeah, well, we're getting a little banged up. We're getting that's part of the season, but we're going to be pretty good. We thought we were going to get Colton for the game. We were pretty sure of that we'd get him back, and just he wasn't going to be he just wasn't going to be himself for the game, and so we made that decision late Friday afternoon, Friday night into Saturday morning that we were going to sit him out, between the Joel Ludke and the athletic training staff. So, kind of a tough decision there, and we had a couple injuries at that spot. Nate Clark's banged up after that game, and so we'll see. I'm hopeful that we'll get Colton back. I think we're going to get him back. We'll find out a lot more today to see if he can run around here this afternoon a little bit more. But feel good about where we're at there. Our offense is actually about as healthy as it can be right now, so that's a great thing that group is fully intact, and defense is just getting beat up, getting worn out as the season goes along. So those times that they're practicing gets cut up, but it's great for the development of the young guys too. On our team. So no big injury surprises or anything like that. I think we're going to have pretty much everybody back that was there, and hopefully get Colton back as well.
Give us some insight into your preparation, your meetings, and what you're this week for that big game at Oshkosh.
Yeah, it is a big game, and I think that it is for us. I don't know if it is for them. They might not view it as a big game. I'm sure they will, just because it's a league game. But it's a big game for us because it's just the next one that we know we have to win. Our goal was to make a playoff run this year, and so we have to win the rest of our games in order to do that, and our guys know that, they understand that, but I think the key with this group has been not emphasizing these things as these big games, because I don't know that half of them even still understand all of that. I don't know if they fully understand maybe that Oshkosh played in the national championship 2 years ago and in the semifinals last year. I don't know. I honestly don't know what our group really knows about all those guys. So, continuing to educate them, but at the same time, like, it's about us going out and executing our thing and our way, and what the way that we do stuff is getting our guys to play their best game. And we feel like with our talent level and the guys that we have, if we play our best game, that we can play with anybody in the country. And we've proven that, I think, over the last couple of years. And now it's getting over that hump to win that next game. And so we know what we're in for. We know they're a great team. I have unbelievable respect for Coach Cerrone. He's the man. Love that guy. I have a ton of respect for their coordinators. Those guys have been there forever with Coach Cerrone and do a great job. We know the tests that we're up against. Our players know the tests that we're up against. So we know what they're going to run. They know we're going to run. There's no secret in those things, I don't think, at this point. And so, a lot of execution is going to come down to it.
So it reminds me of the old days. George Hallis, Vince Lombardi's like, here's my playbook. Yeah. You can see it. Just try stopping us.
Yeah, it is. It's very similar. Because what we run is what we run on defense, kind of what we've been, and what they run on defense is what they run on defense. They've been a little more multiple this year than what they have maybe in the past, but they play great defense. They got a bunch of dynamic playmakers. Shockingly, I know. They just graduated probably three of the better players that have played in this league in the last 25 years. And their quarterback, running back, and wide receiver, and those were great players that they lost. They're very similar to us on that side of the ball, where they have new quarterback, new tailbacks. Not that Gerhardt hadn't played. He started against us last year and had a great game against us. So they have a lot of guys that have played a lot of snaps, but in new roles for them, in leading roles for them, and so they just continue to get better. That team's playing really well right now. And they put it on Platteville last weekend. It was 31-3 until Platteville scored late. We know what we're up against. We know that's a great team. We know they're a great program. They're playing their best football, but so are we. And so we're gonna go up there and take our biggest hack at them on Saturday afternoon.
A sidebar editorial comment quickly. Last week we were a little hard on the officials, and they did not do a very good job at Stout.
Sure.
We all have our bad days, but I will say this. The crew that you had Saturday night here did an excellent job.
Yeah, Pat Miles is a great referee. Did a great job as usual. His crew's really good. We got great officials in this league. They all do such a great job for us, and I just think it's, again, hey, let's. I think you look around at some people, and I'm always critical of especially the basketball coaches that are getting after officials. I'm like, that guy's like an elementary teacher on Monday. Just take it easy on that guy a little bit.
The Boys and Girls Club.
That's right. Just take it easy on them, and again, it's all teamwork on that stuff, and that crew did a great job.
Well, you were 0-2 the first two meetings with Oshkosh. This is their homecoming. They're honoring a national championship team. I saw a lot of veteran players. They're excited about it. Quickly, any concerns offensively and defensively that you'll spend a lot of time on this week?
Well, they have a great player in Dom Totterello. I think he's probably the best offensive player in our league. He's a great player. He's incredibly dynamic. He's a great return guy. They get him the football in a variety of ways. They hand it off to him. He's their second leading rusher. They get the football to him in a number of different ways. He's going to touch the ball a lot. He's really good. I think he's the best offensive player in the league, and we got to stop him. But they got a whole host of wide receivers that are really good players on that side of the ball, and then you can just across the board, their defense, they're all back. They all played last year. Their linebackers, it's like anything that gets tipped up in the air. I don't know how many defensive touchdowns they've scored. I feel like it's a ton. So we got to be really smart with the football because they are turning the ball over at a high rate. Their defense is. So we got to be very good with our ball security. It's the biggest point.
Well, it's a good thing Ben is playing at his level then. But real quickly, again, Whitewater's 2-0. You're tied with second with Oshkosh and Platteville. Around campus, volleyball senior night on Wednesday, women's soccer, 10 straight wins.
Yep.
Men's and women's cross country did well in Ettrick. Women's tennis plays at the WIAC Championship in Madison. Men's and women's basketball begins practice today.
Tis the season.
I know.
It feels like it out there.
I know. It's still it's nice today. But anyway, we appreciate our sponsors helping bring this show. And next week we will talk about Platteville, which will be a homecoming game.
Yep.
And we'll be here again next week, and we'll get some insight into that and recap the Oshkosh game. So it's been a pleasure to have you again. and our viewers. We appreciate you being with us each and every week. So, for Mike Schmidt, I'm Terry Erickson. Thanks for watching the Mike Schmidt UWL Football Show here on KQEG. Good job again.
You've been watching the Mike Schmidt Football Show on KQEG TV. The Mike Schmidt Football Show is brought to you by Honda Motor Works, your electric and hybrid headquarters at 4th and Cass. By Schilling Supply, serving businesses with critical supplies since 1897. By Schumacher Kish Cremation and Funeral Services in La Crosse, La Crescent, and Onalaska. By 360 Real Estate Solutions, they've got the keys to your new home. And by Market & Johnson, Western Wisconsin's construction leader, adding value to everything they do. Join us next week at this same time for the Mike Schmidt Football Show.